Hi folks, Wes Penny here. Today I'm going to be tying a very easy bloodworm pattern. So I'm using a Firehole 718. This is a size 14. And the Semperfli nano thread, this is gray. We're just going to take the thread and wrap it all the way down the body, down the shank of the hook to into the curve, right about there, and then come all the way back up. So just a quick thread base. And get back up to the head. And then I'm going to be using a product called Midge Stretch Floss. So it's this green color. It's called Chabarus Green. It was put out a few years ago by Brian Chan and Phil Rowley, part of their Stillwater Solutions. I don't know if it's still available, but there's probably other stuff out there that's very close. So I'm going to take a length of that and just tie it in close to the eye. Give a couple of really good tight wraps, and then I'm going to pull it and stretch it all the way down and tie it in alongside the body of the hook, but on the side, and go right down into the bend, keeping it tight. And once I get there, I can let go, and then we'll just go right back up. And just going to flatten out my thread quickly, and then go back down and just do a couple of wraps to give just a tiny bit of a taper. Don't need much of one, but a little bit of one is nice to have. And then we'll go back up, kind of clean off that, and tie off right here the quick whip finish. And the next thing I'm going to do is take a red marker, and I'm going to color my gray thread red. And you'll say, well, why don't you use red thread? The reason I use this marker is just for the color. It's not a Sharpie, it's an old marker I've had for years, but the color is just really deep and dark red compared to, you know, the red thread is generally quite a bit brighter. So I just like that color, but you could use red thread or a marker, whatever you choose. And then I'm going to take the floss and make sure it's kind of nice and flat in your hand and just start wrapping. And I'm not stretching it out very much, very, very little. And as you wrap it, you want to keep the slightest gap between each wrap. So you have the ribs and you're keeping that segmentation as you go up. So just a tiny bit of pull on there, not much at all. And just keep going all the way up. And as you get close, you can pull it tight, and we'll just tie it off right there. Snip that off. And I'm just going to make sure that that's in there all nice and secure with a... Just make a little bit of a head with your thread. And a whip finish. And then I'll go back to the marker and color that gray thread in again. And then I'm going to take it, I'm just going to dab on top and on the sides, underneath. I'm not coloring the whole thing. I want to keep a bit of red and a bit of green. So bloodworms will often be either all red, they can be green and red, or mostly just green. But with this pattern, it'll give you both. It kind of covers both at the same time. And then we'll take some Gulf varnish. You can use whatever varnish you prefer, even Sally's. I use this Gulf varnish, and we're going to put it on top, but we want very, very little on here. So we don't want to put so much in that it covers all the ribs, the spacing between the ribs. So we really want to keep that segmentation as prominent as you can. If you find you've put too much in there, just dab it with your fingers and kind of get it off. And then you can just go back and smoothen it out again. So really, all you really want to do here is put a protective layer for the marker coloring and to make it a little bit more shiny. You can put a little bit of a nice head on there. So I'll cure that. So again, this is a really easy and quick bloodworm, but it's a really nice looking bloodworm, and you'll do well with it. There you go. You can see that it's got the nice red and green showing. It's a little bit shiny, and it's a decent pattern. Thanks for watching.